There's a message that asks if we could see the transcript.
Okay. I thought I turned on my transcript. Okay. Fabulous. So did we get thumbs up? That was enough time for course 0? Yep. Okay, excellent. So one of the things that we learned about in course 0 is using Unrulr as our community platform to be able to connect with other teachers and educators, specifically about, open education resource. This is a learning curve for pretty much everybody. I don't think there's a single teacher I've met who's like, I know OER, like, it's no big deal, right? So all of us, Mark and myself included, we're all learning this together. Mark and I have just had a couple months head start. That's about it. So the good news is that, if you're asking us questions and you're like, wow, they really know what they're talking about, in a few months, you're going to be in this place too, maybe sooner, hopefully sooner than us. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over Unrulr. Let's make sure everybody can get into Unrulr and use it. So you're going to go to unrulr.com. You can click on it from the hyperdoc as well. You're going to see right there, sign in via web. Now, Unrulr is, you can think of it as an Instagram for educators. Okay, so you can use it on your cell phone. I personally think it's easier to use it on my cell phone because one of the things that Unrulr requires when you post on Unrulr is that you have to have some kind of media, right? So you have to have a photo, or you have to have a video recording or something that you're gonna include when you post. And so for our first post that we're gonna do, it's an identity post where you're gonna need to pick a picture. And because we're all learning about OER, if you decide to choose a picture off the website, off the internet, please make sure it's open resource. Okay, so we're gonna first get you into Unrulr, make sure you know where to post, and then we're gonna demonstrate how to do a post, all right? So you're gonna select log in, and when you click on log in, you are gonna log in using one of your Google accounts. So if you registered using your DOE account with us, then use your DOE account. I think the recommendation, right, is for HIDOE teachers to use their DOE account.
Yeah, the reason why is if you've got a name like mark.hines at k12.hi.us, that's an alias, and Unrulr doesn't recognize the alias, doesn't pass through the DOE system. So you do need to use your numeric ID to log in, like if it's 101000681 at k12.hi.us, then that's the one you need to use to log in. So there's 2 ways to log in. Don't worry about this bottom one. This is if you're a teacher using it with your students, you're considered a user. So we're going to just have you log in on that one. And so when you come in, it'll ask you, I've already signed in, so it's already authenticated me, but you saw that very quick flash of that screen that said sign in using, and I used Google to do that. So let's make sure you can get in here right now. So once you're in, can you in the chat just tell us you're in, so we know you're all set? And if there's anything else like, wait, what's the address again, or what account? Post it in the chat. Let's get you into Unrulr. And I'm just going to scan the chat to make sure. Thanks, Sherry.
Actually, take that back. Mark, so I see that on, or I guess this is small, huh? I see that on your screen you have the cupola insignia, but on mine I don't have it. So I might be in my past classes, my past OER class.
So if you try to go to search, and please don't panic when you see my screen, these are all the communities that I'm part of because we manage a lot of groups. You should see as one of these OER asynchronous.
Okay.
See that one when you go into search?
Okay, I see it.
So you click on that tile for OER asynchronous. So use the search function, you find OER asynchronous, you click on the tile. And then what's going to happen is all the prompts are going to show up. So these are the prompts. So these are the required prompts as you move through OER 0, 1, 2, and the worksheet submission course. You're gonna, during those courses, you're gonna see that you need to go in and do an Unrulr prompt. So they all need a response. So if you click on the needs response in orange, then you're gonna have the option to view prompt. So I would view the prompt first, right? So you click on view prompt and you scroll down a little bit. And what you see here is you see their media, right? So Hawaii Online Portal for Education is the media, so that's a picture. And then you see this little green thing that says ha, belonging. And this is a cog. And so when you make a post, you sometimes may be prompted to select a cog that your post connects to. You can think of cogs like hashtags. Okay, so these are relevant hashtags for whatever the post might be. So one of the frameworks that that we use with cogs is the HA framework. So that'll be, you may see that when you're making a post that you might have to choose a cog. Sometimes you can then select from the ones that appear on your screen. So this is the identity prompt. Who are you and what drives you? What roots your pedagogy and the curriculum that you make? So that's a question for you to answer for yourself. And then there's a recommendation there to respond to at least one colleague's post with connections or resources. So if you scroll down, you can see that different people have added a comment. Okay, so those are comments. That's not what we're trying to do. Okay, you actually want to make a post. So if we look down here, Sherry, is it okay if we share your post? Okay, awesome. So this is Sherry's post, right? So she has a photo, right? So post is going to have a picture, and then she's gone down and she's answered this question, right? Who are you? What drives you? What roots your pedagogy and the curriculum you make? And then if I were to respond to Sherry's post, then I could select add a comment. All right. I of you are trying.
I always fix my typos later. So
All right.
that's commenting on someone's post, for example.
Okay. Now to make your own post, if you go back, yep, to the original prompt, okay, and then you scroll down, you're going to see this respond button. So you're going to go ahead and select respond. And when you select respond, the first thing you have to do is add media. Okay. When you add media, you can upload from your library, or I often take pictures, my own pictures, and then I'll send it over. So why don't we practice doing a quick open education resource CC search. Because you haven't created your identity prompt yet, have you,
No,
Mark?
I have not.
Okay, so we're gonna watch as Mark does his. So do you have a picture that you want to use?
I had what I was gonna use, but let's see,
Oh.
let's say if I wanted to find
Yes.
something that was OER, I got my own picture in my photo library that I could use. But let's say that I didn't have that. So I'm trying to think if I've got a quick bookmark for that one, but I don't think I
I
do.
just put in CC search,
So,
and then I look for images with the ability to edit.
I'm in the wrong way there.
So CC search is basically like Creative Commons.
Which one shall I pick? I know I should have a bookmark, but
So I do
Yeah, that's right.
creativecommons.org. And then
that's old search. Try open.
search for CC images at the top. Oh, so you know what? It's called Openverse, I guess, now.
Yeah, yeah.
That's interesting.
So these are the kind of places where for you, making that bookmark happens. So if I search for content here, I'm just gonna look for images, and I'm gonna look for music. And I'll explain why in a second here. So maybe I'm just gonna decide to use this image that I see. It's because I can see I can reuse this content. It's CC by NCSA. We're gonna get into this. We haven't done the course yet, but this is telling me I have to credit the creator, non-commercial, and share under the same terms. So this is kind of a tight licensing. I have to share it. So I'm gonna go back and see if I can find something that's not quite as tightly constrained. So this is also a credit. Let's see, I need that one here. Let's see, this one will do it. Yeah, so here's CC BY. So that's the most open kind of license, as we'll learn. So if I've got this one, and I'm just going to save this image right now on my computer. So I'm going to put this in my downloads folder, and I'm going to call it music so that I know what it's called. So that's the first step. You might already have an image in your photo library. That's why, as Smoha pointed out, using your mobile device is so much faster. You can take a picture of something right off your mobile device and upload it if you don't have access to a photo library. But now that I've got that media, I'm going to come in. I know I put that in my download folder. So here's my download folder, and I called it music. So now here it is. So again, this is my identity prompt. Who are you? So that's my first step. So when you look, I'm going to close my chat here. It's just I'm not monitoring chat right now.
Yeah, I got
I can make note on my screen. So always when you're in Unrulr, look on that top right-hand side. That's where the next prompts are. So you see it here. So, oh, actually, I should have done this. Well, no, that's right. Yeah, so I'm good. So I'm going to say next. And then the next step is, as Simone mentioned, you might have a cog. So you can see that for what we've got here, there's some different cogs. You won't see as many as I have because I'm an administrator. But one of the ones that we mentioned was there was a HA one, and it dealt with belonging. So I want to make sure I select that. So I'm doing that. And then I'm going to go next. And here's my caption for that. So, one of my early influences was part of a music program that taught me the importance of preparing and the joy of performing to an audience. This has influenced me as a teacher. Anyhow, I'm going to keep this one short. You can go as long as you want. So once I've completed what I want for my prompt, I can go next. It asks me where I want to post this. Now I'm a member of many groups. So in your case, you might only be a member of the OER group. So I'm going down here. See, it's already in the OER asynchronous group, and it's going to be shared with both learners and teachers. The next step is it'll preview. So it shows me one last time, here's what you're posting. And then if I'm good with that, then I hit post. And so if you're logged into Unrulr right now, in a moment, or if you refresh the screen, you can do that by pulling down, and it tends to refresh. I'm going to go back home. And you can see that the way Unrulr works is the most recent posts always go to the top of the feed. So I can see that here, my post now has come in. So find the prompt, respond, select an image, choose your cog, create the caption, and post. Oh, yeah, and post.
Yeah. And then you can go look at a few other people's posts. So what we'll do is we're gonna spend about 5 or 10 minutes to work on this.
And we'll watch.
Christina, I saw your concern. Do you want to come off of mute and we try to problem solve right now?
Well, everyone else, now, if you've already posted, then you can just take a look at other posts and respond if you haven't responded to someone's, okay?
So Christine, are you still not able to, oh, there was a delay. Okay, all right, great.
One of the things you'll notice is, again, if you pull down on the post area, you'll actually see it sometimes refresh, or you can also just hit refresh screen. By the way, for those of you that are listening, I didn't catch until just now, I made a typo in my post. So it is possible to go into a post. There is a place in your post that will bring up an edit button. And so I can go in and change a post I made. I can add to it. So again, if you see your post, if you click on it, you'll get a little edit button. So you can re-edit the post you made, or you can even delete posts that you've made. So just know that Unrulr allows you to go in and edit the posts you've made. They're not permanent in the sense that you can't change them once you post them. I did that on purpose to show them how to edit.
I love it.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
Not really. So Christina, I can see your post here. So you can see an example here for those of you that are already posting and looking around. I'm noticing that Chris Wagner, who's taking this asynchronously right now, posted 30 minutes ago, and Fred Rapoon, who works closely with a lot of the efforts in Ko'olau Poko, where they've got this whole set of resources with Ahupua'a and Fish Pond and Key Project and other organizations on the windward side of Oahu, that they're a part of this group and they're interested in connecting their work to teachers that are doing this. So.
All right. Okay, about 3 more minutes. And once you've responded, you can go in and look at somebody else's post and respond.
That's a lovely post.
Oh, thanks.
I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat, so I'm hopeful that you're in. I know some of you have already made posts because you have done this before. And for those of you that are doing this asynchronously and you're watching the recording, we just want to make sure, the accountability portion of this is for all of the OER course or all of the Canvas courses that are required. The evidence that you took them is both taking the quizzes that are embedded within the course and creating the Unrulr posts that show that you addressed answering questions from within that course. One of the things I want to point out, both in the mobile app as well as the computer, the web-based, the web browser, you can hide the prompts by clicking on the little eye icon in the top right-hand side when you're logged in. So the prompts will pop up. If you click on the eyeball, if there's a little line through it, that means you've hidden them. So again, this was about responding to that first prompt. Oops, sorry. So these are the ones that are here, where we were responding to I'm going to just our group here because the prompt is specific to our group. So for our group, it was the identity prompt. By the end of today, there's 2 more prompts that you are going to be asked to do. One of them was tied to the OER module that you just finished, OER 0. That is this prompt that's called exploration. It is not embedded in the, this is the one case of you being prompted to respond in Unrulr. It doesn't tell you within the course to do that. But when you go to this prompt, the prompt actually asks the question, reflect on your recent exploration of OER content. What opportunities do you see? What resource gaps have you identified? How will you approach that? So by the end of today, or when you have offline time this afternoon, make sure you respond to this one as well. Again, it's not stated specifically within OER 0 and 1 to respond to this, but by the end of OER 0 and 1, you should be able to answer this prompt, and it's one of the ones that we want you to respond to by the time you get to the end of today. Okay? How do we feel about that? Are we good with Unrulr?
I think so. Can we get a thumbs up from you folks if this feels good? Yes. You
Okay.
Kiko, if you have a question, you can come off of mute. It's okay. All right.
And we'll be here for office hours this afternoon if you want to get a little deeper dive into navigating Unrulr. You know, it's a tool that's incredibly powerful, but it's also sometimes there's so much there, it helps to sort of get some help going through it.
Okay, so at least we have one prompt. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording and then we can jump into the second session.
Yeah, do we want to just do a quick, any questions from OER 1?
Okay, yeah, OER 0, yes,
OER
let's do
0,
that.
yeah. So the other part of this before we jump into OER 1 is OER 0 is an overview. It talks about the institutes, it talks about Unrulr, it talks about the structure of how Hope works. So were there any questions that came up for you as you reviewed OER 1? We wanted to make sure we gave you that opportunity before we moved ahead with OER 0. Any questions before we move ahead with OER 1? I'm going to count to 30 in my head because as you're sort of mulling over what you just read or reviewed if you had already done it before. Okay, that was counting to 30 in my head. I didn't see any questions pop up. So I'm assuming we're good. Again, you can always get individual help once we break into your open-ended time as well as in office hours today. Shall I show OER 1 or do you want to this time, Simone? I'm already
No,
sharing.
how about you do it because I'm
Okay.
gonna do the back end.
All right, so just to remind you again, to get to the courses, when you're in the HyperDoc, if you have already enrolled in the course, you're just going to go to Canvas. If you have not enrolled in OER 1 yet, there's a link here to do that. So I'm enrolled in Canvas already, so I'm here in OER 1. So if I'm in OER 1, I'm sorry, I'm in OER 0. I can tell that by going up here and mousing over on this one and seeing which one I'm in. But on the very left side navigation bar, there's an area called Courses. And so if I click or tap on that button, then all of the courses that I have enrolled in pop up here. So this is how you get to all of the courses if you want to go back. So you can see I'm enrolled in OER 0, and I can also see here that there's one called Summer 2022 Intro to OER 1. So that's the course we're going to have you do next. So I'm clicking into that course, and this is the launch page for that course. So if you're in it correctly, you'll see a nice big graphic that says Aloha. And then it just gives you an overview. So this is materials to help you as you begin working with OER. In one sentence, the purpose of this module is to both introduce you to what OER is, and most importantly, help you figure out the ways by which you can identify, locate, and understand the kinds of open education resources that exist already. So if you're looking for a really cool resource to help your students understand the history of the Americas, or you're looking for something that will help you with writing for a grade 2, these are the places where if you want to take this module, it'll help you understand how to do that. So the module, this course is broken into a couple of modules, actually one module, but a couple of sections within that. It's going to define what OER is, but more importantly, it's going to help you figure out how to find relevant OER. So there's going to be some really good resources here. One of the things you're going to see in these courses, it will say, take time to bookmark these resources. So if you haven't really thought about your strategy for doing this work, we highly recommend you create a bookmark folder in whatever web browser you're using. We're using Chrome. So like, for example, for me, I've got a Hope resources folder that I've got that has, for me, all of the resources that I've been curating for my own use during this work. So you might want to create a folder that's got all of your OER resources, so you know how to quickly find them. And then once you've done that, then you're going to do some reflection in Unrulr. But the key goal here is where to find OER, how to know what kind of license you've got, and then what that OER might do to support you in this work that you're going to do in this course. When you go into all of these, one of the things I just want to show you is it won't just tell you about it, but you're gonna find places where it's gonna have, I'm going in a little bit late here in the course. I started in the back end. So it'll talk about places where you can find OER Commons, Waihona, which is a Kamehameha Schools funded project that allows HCBE teachers to find really relevant content. I know, I remember, I'm trying to think of, Ashley had talked about, needing to find relevant topics for history of Hawaii. So Waihona, if you weren't familiar with it, might be a place to do that. So it gives you a whole bunch of different strategies to try and identify OER resources. So we really want you to dive into this. The time we've got planned for you is to take an hour. So it's 9:47 right now. So we're on schedule because we had planned 9:45 to 10:45 for you to explore OER 1. So much like we did with OER 0, we're going to now give you open-ended time to explore. Samoha and I will stay in the room and be here for you, but we want you to go through. And again, if there's two big takeaways, one is make sure you know how to identify when you see an OER resource that it is OER, and that you know how to search for relevant OER for yourself. Those are the two big takeaways from this unit. Did you say, Samoa, is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Any questions before we get you in and dive?
Okay.
When we come back, we've got an activity to help you check your knowledge because we really want to make sure you feel good about this. So no, when we come back at 10:45, we're going to spend a little time and have you do an activity to see, can you identify OER licensing of materials? So that's going to be our check for you to see if you know, okay? We'll be here over the course of the next hour if you need to drop in and ask us questions. Otherwise, we'd like to see you back here at 10:45.
Yes. All right.
Good luck. Enjoy this run through. This is a great set of resources for you. Have a great exploration.